Hi everyone, GM in the Great Editor's Suite here. I know it's weird to see me in this setting, especially right at the start, but I needed to offer a preemptive acknowledgement. The program managing my stream and recording system began malfunctioning mere minutes into the game. Not only did it crash the live stream at one point, but it also compromised a lot of the audio in the recording. I'm going to publish this episode based on what I can salvage, but I am going to drop a brief summary of this session's plot at the start in case you just want to skip ahead. So take a few moments, and if you want to avoid the spoilers, then just skip ahead a little bit. Otherwise, if you want to just jump to the next session, I'll give you a beat, and here will be the next plot developments. Okay, so how this session worked. The crew of the Yawn followed up on their devastatingly effective raid from the previous session. They boarded the freighter after detecting a handful of survivors. The boarding party, led by Tabak and Cressek, attempted to negotiate with a Rigelian freighter captain and a couple of his surviving crew, who had established a barricade. After negotiations seemed like they were going nowhere for a time, Cressek wound up using his knockout gas grenades to incapacitate the survivors. He killed two of them and took the captain of the ship back with him to the Yawn. With the battle over, those of the crew that stayed aboard the freighter began searching for any clues as to where they may have been and where they were going, something that would tell them where woe might be hidden. Amid their salvage work, the boarding party finds the ship is largely inoperable after their attack, but leths&BiHnuchs does locate a hidden weapons cache. The freighter was running warhead components for thermobaric weaponry, basically to build torpedoes that are meant to be used in planetary atmosphere and create massive fiery explosions, something which they wind up salvaging. They take several canisters worth. They don't, however, find any clues on the ship, at least not before Cressek makes a move of his own. The Doctor winds up buying a trait, infecting himself with the choir entity of which Traven Lex possessed the lone remaining sample, back from episode 8, Chal Dishovjach. While the collective consciousness died at the end of that episode, Cressek essentially cultivated a version of this and realized he might be able to exploit it for telepathic usage, and modifies it so that he can have a little more control over its spread, or at least shorten its life cycle. The technique and the Doctor's persuasion work on the freighter captain, whom he also infects with this. In exchange for his life, the freighter captain tells Cressek that his ship ran supplies to an outpost in the Azure Nebula, a favored crossing point for raiders and marauders between Federation and Klingon space. The crew sets a new heading and departs for whatever fate may lie in that nebula. That pretty much sums up the developments of this session. You're welcome to listen to the rest here for any character interaction. I will warn you, audio quality does become quite inconsistent, however, and the visuals will freeze up frequently. This is, thankfully, the last of the season's technical difficulties, at least of any significance, so you won't see me here. Whether you decide to stick around and see the session for what it is, or skip on to the next session, I hope that you enjoy as we finish out the season. Till then, hopla.
Gavon, brave souls, this is your GM in the Great Barrier. We are back today with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. We are on the final episode of the season, the title of which I did not actually include last time, so that is my apologies. Our finale will be called SuDwI HIjnajpu. There it is. But we are in part 2 tonight. It's been quite an exhilarating part 1 that we are coming off of. So let's just dive in. So when last we left off, the Yawn has been following the trail of their long-lost Kazin crew member. The Doctor had figured, since Woe had in her time aboard the Yawn been developing latent telepathic abilities, that they'd been coming to the forefront, He'd inferred that the crew that had kidnapped her might need to suppress her telepathically. With Zional's help, had been looking for any signs in Klingon space, in any other merchant networks, illicit or otherwise legal, that there was some sign of that, of unusual amounts of that technology or medicine moving about. He had discovered that operating in the region between Federation and Klingon space, there was one business specifically operated out of one of the Enolian trade colonies that had been taking in large amounts of this medical equipment specific to or specific for use with telepaths, and that past a certain point they couldn't account for the chain. Through further investigation, it seems as though this freighter has been following a very eclectic sort of trade route, including passing through a very narrow a very narrow segment of a subspace gyre, a zone where warp would be impractical due to very adverse conditions. It is likely the crew has figured that they have been smuggling these supplies and selling them on the black market, potentially directly to the this other crew, or possibly in some indirect fashion. The point is, these people are the link in the chain that you have figured out. These are the people that you need to intercept. They will give you your best lead. As such, since the crew is resolved to go and rescue Woe, a plan was enacted. You set a course for the star system, and using the shadow of a gas giant, you hid and decided to lie in wait whilst waiting for the freighter to make its pass. This being the best place to do so because they would be stuck at impulse power. This was the best place to effect the ambush because they would be stuck at impulse power only. You arrived a little in advance of them, enough time to prepare for your ambush, and under Captain Ezek's leadership, the Yon was able to score a devastating blow against a passing freighter. As such, power conduits have blown out, a number aboard are dead, but the ship still has intact computers and some living crew. So the prize is yours for the taking, and any information they might have should be available in there. So, with an away team assembled, which at last check included Tabok, the Doctor, Cressek, Zional, and Lynn Nix, the resident, well, she is human, but maybe a little less human, or perhaps a little something more on top of human with all of her mechanical augmentations. At any rate, the four of them had decided to beam over to the ship. Before we join the story, let me ask here, since I know situation being what it is, or like Ray, I think you had wanted to bring Zional along if memory serves. If you're not in a good.
I would always love to bring Zional along, but oh my god, yeah, I'm not in the best place for that.
Okay, well, whilst you may still be able to participate, add some color here at different moments, I will go down the line here, specifically to you, Cheesy, so that I can ask for roll. either role play or role play, depending on whether you're substituting that E for an extra L. Would you like to take over Zional? Would you like to bring a different supporting character into the scene? What would you prefer to yield Zional to somebody else and just stay out for the moment? I would invite any thoughts you'd have on the matter.
It's been a really long time, and I kind of wanted to play Nogri if that's okay.
Absolutely. We can definitely bring in Nogri at the last minute. Just a very light retcon, and he can be present in the scene as well, which will also mean you get a chance to activate him. For ease of everything, I can at the very least roll for Zional if you guys would like, or if anyone else wants to handle that character, you can do so as well. I suppose I'll offer too. Joe, would you want any character in the scene right now? Azek may be on the bridge, but there are other options, even if you're just handling roles.
My Discord keeps jumping up to max red and back down, so I think it might be best if I not take a character right now.
That's understandable. Yeah, the volume is going strangely in and out with your mic as well, so we'll just operate we'll operate with the characters as they are, and just proceed from there. I can handle roles for Zional as well as the NPCs. I know Ray is obviously not in a position to roll anything else. Just to double check, is anybody else having Roll20 issues?
I got 99 issues, but Roll20 aren't 20 of them.
Let us hope that they stay well below that threshold. Even to the 1. Alright, well, we will then switch things over, or we'll come back into the scene, where the now 5 of you, by Cosmic Retcon, stepped onto the transporter pad. DuPont has set you into a section that is still pressurized and, importantly, is near enough where some people are still alive, that as it is they should be heading towards you, but you should have enough time to prepare yourselves here. So we'll say that for our 5 people on the boarding party, your vision is all obscured in the bright yellows and oranges of the transporter beam as you are deconstructed, transmitted, and reassembled in the zone of the freighter. As the curtain of light begins to melt away, you find yourself in a badly damaged corridor. Debris has been strewn about. Numerous supports and bulkheads have given way, and various gases seep from conduits that are blown out, heavily damaged. It seems as though your disruptors definitely gained purchase on this old modified freighter, but that it was simply no match for your swift attack. The Tabak at the lead is going to wave some of the errant gases from his face as he coughs slightly. Good job! The ship's in an even rougher state. Probably wouldn't even do much good for salvage. So look around and check in with you. Everyone else, are you ready for contact?
Lynn gives a nod. Affirmative.
He'll take one of the rebreathers that you guys definitely all have and that the GM definitely didn't forget about when he set up that intro,
Yup.
and place it over his face. And it either speaker connecting it to where it sounds effortlessly like seamless from as if he were speaking normally, or perhaps that you have some sort of communication system near your ears. Either way, he will say to the bunch, well, remember, we may want information from them, so we won't necessarily kill them yet. At least...
Question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
At least not so much that they are... at least do not injure them so much that our good doctor is not able to restore them.
Maiming doesn't count, though, right? We can maim.
We'll save that for if they're uncooperative. Yep. And Rev, I believe you had a question.
Yes. Do I see a Wallcom panel?
I would say there is at least one panel there. A lot of the features are blown out, but you think that you can attempt to access communications if you would like.
I would be delighted to try to access communications.
Okay. Since it's heavily damaged here, I'm going to say this will be a difficulty 2 control plus engineering task. I am going to drop a point of threat just to increase the complication range on that.
Would anybody like to assist me in getting this comm panel back working?
Sure, I'll gladly assist.
Because this is not a good roll for me. You said increase the complication range by 1?
Correct.
Okay, I know what I'm doing.
If you don't need my help.
Right.
But I'll take it anyways in case we get some
Sure.
momentum. Yeah.
Okay.
Doctor, you're
Make sure the complication range is increased by 1.
Yep. You are pretty sure, Doctor, that if you were pressing buttons in a certain order, it might be the equivalent of making contact with a live wire. It seems as though this particular console is primed in a very bad way. At the very least, you'd if you weren't careful, it would risk an overload. But you're pretty confident that you were able to power up the comm system in a fashion that that isn't going to blow up in your face, as it were.
Excellent. Lynn?
All right. I'll let me try to help with that sweet momentum control engineering.
That it is.
Yeah!
So that's 2.
Yep. I'll take it a step further. As you gain momentum, Lynn, you spot that there are... you spot through some of the blown open parts of the panel, you see how the comm system is... at the very least, this particular panel is very likely to give out very quickly, or worse yet, burn up if tapped in an incorrect fashion. I'm going to say that with the mechanical precision that you bring to many a task that the doctor has seen, you're able to reach in and reconnect a few systems, bypass some of the damaged segments of the interface, and you manage to get what you think should be a clear broadcast, something with less static. So not only do you succeed, but you effectively can be heard more clearly. As part of this, I will give you guys a point of momentum, of course, too. Who would like to be designated momentum officer? We didn't have much of it, so I don't...
I can do it.
Okay. Yep, Joe, if you just want to click on the momentum pile and draw a point, then go right ahead. All right, Cressek, you have comms access now.
Oh, you cut out.
You have comms access, Doctor. What would you like to do?
Excellent. What was the freighter's name?
The Don Ias.
All right. Attention, freighter Don Ias. I am High Researcher of the Goran hegemony. As of this moment, your ship, your cargo, your lives are forfeit under the auspices of the Black Crest. You carry information and services I need. Render these without opposition and return on your way. Resist, and your bones will lay the foundation of my next nursery world. I am a scientist who has had a very, very bad year. So before you choose rashly, ask yourself if you are absolutely certain you are prepared to test my theories.
Very, very nice. Would you like to pivot your success at using the communications console into basically an effort to create an advantage, not simply to use the communications, but to intimidate them? Or would you like a presence and command, or if you have the talent to substitute it, a present and medicine affair? Hell, even security would work. It does open wider options for you if you would like to try
Yes.
it.
Whichever is better. I'm fine just rolling it into giving it, but if we think that we can maybe generate some more momentum, I'm fine rolling as well.
I think, well, the roll would probably be more beneficial for you, since that does mean... it does mean that you have another chance at gaining momentum, basically something to prime the pump, as it were.
All right. Presence and what?
I think that either command or security would be the most appropriate here.
And would my psychoanalysis focus come into play?
I don't think so in this particular situation.
Okay.
It's more... you don't actually know the mercs all that well to assess their state of mind.
True. What's the difficulty?
Let's see. I'm going to roll it against the merc leader to see how he's going to take this. But I'll tell you what,
right.
because you have so thoroughly... Oh no. Apologies, guys. I think we might have been raided. Yes, we have been raided by the Architects of Fate. Hello, everyone. That alert was very loud in my ears. Welcome
Yay.
aboard. I am your GM in the Great Barrier.
They raid us?
They raided us, yes. it was 7 people. We're oh dear, we're really in the thick of it now. Quick introduction here for those of you that don't know. We are a Star Trek Adventures game, or I am a Star Trek Adventures streamer, your GM in the Great Barrier. I run this Klingon game, Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword, Tuesday nights at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. We also do a Saturday game set in the Enterprise prequel era. So it's a lot of fun all around. Hope that you enjoy. I'm always happy to see our friends at the Architects of Fate. I'm very partial to their Star Trek content. The Cookie Trek game that they run on Fridays, and the Monday alternating games Back in Business and Bejor Rising. But yes, we're just in the middle of a freighter raid, and our Gorn Doctor is trying to make an impression, which is what we will roll to see about here. So let's see. I think this will be control and command here. And the freighter captain, so this is going to give him an extra task roll, or extra die for his task roll. He's gonna need the help.
Oh
no.
Ooh.
Can I spend that point of moment for a third die?
You may. I will note, however, that he has a complication. In addition to the 2 successes, I will let you.
Yes.
I'll let you make your roll first, and then decide how you want to use that complication to create a narrative advantage.
Okay. Alrighty. Here we go. Roll 3 die. Wow. Wow, guys. That's unfortunate.
I could be persuaded to let that advantage permit you a re-roll on those 2 dice that did not go so well.
Oh, I would love that. I would love to use that.
Yep.
I think they were cocked on the table anyway.
Wow.
Yep. Okay.
We tried here.
Yep. The comm panel. Well, you wait for a few moments over the comm panel, and Tabok says, "I know better than to know that you would never be against us, Cressek. But let me say, Doctor, I am glad you are on our side." I am glad you are on our side. Did not have complete words there. You hear down from the end of the hallway some skittering, not skittering, but like some light pounding on the deck. A voice calling out as, unfortunately, they did still manage to succeed against your, They managed to succeed against you for some reason. The question, the reason as to why becomes manifest with the question that somebody lays out from the far end. What in the 3 hells is a Gorn hegemony? What's even a Gorn?
Fantastic. Love it.
Yep, there's
Go ahead.
let's see. There's a moment of a few moments of uncertainty as Tabok himself was kind of caught a little bit flabbergasted over this because he didn't expect that anyone would ask a question, or he's gotten used to you at this point, and indeed some people might have a little passing awareness. Lynn, you might have heard of Gorn before you came here, but they are not particularly well known in this era.
Zional looks to... Sorry, go ahead.
Has the church fight happened?
No,
No.
that is still...
No?
We are 5 years before, or actually more like 6 years before even the events of Discovery right now, let alone, like still a decade and a half out from TOS, or, it's between those two time periods of Strange New Worlds. So the Gorn are like... Federation's been getting a bit close to their space, but they don't understand that much about them, aside from the fact that they occasionally raid a planet.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
apparently they...
Trying-
Lynn does not know.
Yep.
Occasional raids, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, a couple colonies would have gone missing by now because Lan's colony was already
Yep.
attacked.
Yeah. So that was probably sometime in the last decade. But colonies, they do... like, on the fringe, unfortunately, they do tend to go missing. There was actually, within Federation history, there was a major colonial crisis in the previous decade, the 2240s, where a lot of them just failed for large reasons, like myriad reasons, a lot of them being just utter logistical collapses. That's part of where the infamous Governor Kodos of... what was that? What was the name of the planet? It was the person who wound up murdering a very old Hoshisato, and whom Kirk and others would trace down in another later episode. My system being crunchy right now, so I'm afraid to open up a new page for that. Oh, Tarsus 4, that's the one.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, a voice calls out, like, "Quiet, you two! We're not dealing with any of this right now. I don't know who you are over there, but I've got a cargo, and I've got people that are far scarier than whatever the hell you are, and let me ask you one question. Why does a Gorn, whatever they are, ride on an old Klingon ship?"
A very bad year.
I'll bet. Well, perhaps you don't know, but I answer to a number of people, not the least of which is an Orion, who rides around in Orion ships, or better yet, sends other Orion ships to do his bidding, and the moment he finds out about this whole debacle, if I don't make my goods delivery on time, I've got problems. And if somebody attacks one of his ships, he's got problems. And you especially have problems.
Is this ship tall enough for me to stand to my full height?
Yes.
Excellent. Cressek is just going to stand to his full height, step in front, and just start slowly marching forward.
You see...
with his mask rebreather apparatus on, obviously.
Yep. Through the smoke, you see what appear to be a few Rigelians huddled about in the amongst the debris. A couple of them appeared to be very bewildered, but the man in the center, or kind of the one furthest forward, is like trying to squint through the gases as he makes out your visage amongst the group. You are...
Any of them have weapons out?
It looks as though the lead person is at least reaching for one.
Okay.
Oh, you are an ugly bastard, aren't you?
Your decision now.
Not the most familiar with Gorn, but how am I supposed to trust that you and yours are gonna let mine even live?
You saw what we could do to your ship in a single volley. If we wanted you dead, you would be dead.
I'll tell you what then. You're. He kind of looks a bit concerned. Well, you seem big and important high researcher, so how's about we find a way to come to more even terms and I can find this a little more agreeable? He removes a disruptor pistol from his holster and he squarely aims at you. How's about you tell your ship to power down its weapons, beam over some spare parts, and maybe I'll let you live, and I might even give you some information.
Cressek looks at him. Nods. Allow me to speak with our crew to plan our delivery.
I'll keep the disruptor trained for a moment, but I'll very slightly relent and kind of back off, waving back at least the other visible crew member he's got beside you. So you have a moment's respite to confer. They are still within effective range to engage if you should decide to do so.
Cressek's just going to turn back to them, and obviously everybody heard that, but it's the captain's call.
Yep.
So he's just looking to the captain.
I don't like their tone. Not how they speak to my doctor, not how they insult my ship. Doctor, do you know, would your gas grenades be a problem for Rigelian physiology, or are they is the axonol that you have, do you believe that suitable for their physiology?
Do I know, GM?
I'd guess I would expect it's all good. It's a multi-purpose grenade for most species.
It should be sufficient.
I don't like the we probably need them alive. Unless you can persuade me otherwise, I believe force to be the wisest option. They're not.
Sorry, go ahead.
In any case, they are not going to escape so easily, even if we had adequate parts to supply them. Their crew is so reduced that they're. Even with that, it would take quite a bit of time. And there's no guarantee they could effect repairs fast enough.
I gave them a choice. They made their decision.
Right. With that, Tabok says, "Dispatch them, then, Doctor. Or disable them, and we'll bring them aboard."
And Cressek's gonna nod to Lynn.
All right.
She got the grenades. She got the power.
All right.
She do have one of the grenades.
Yes. Technically, with
It's
the
a waste of
grenade.
time, but...
Good.
Oh, go ahead, GM.
I was just going to say you have the. With grenade, the trait generally allows you to use them 3 times. Per scene, that is. So, technically, you have multiple grenades, but go on ahead there, Lynn, you were saying something.
I mean, I also do have the phaser, and I said the area. Can shoot all of them.
True.
True.
They do have a bit of cover, is the only issue with that.
I see. Cover.
I'm passing control to you. Whatever you decide to do.
Okay.
Does Lynn want to go?
We have the respirators. I'll use the grenade.
You take the prop that you have been supplied for the episode because the money was spent for this, and give me. Jeez, what is it now? It is control plus security with a difficulty of 2 in order to.
Difficulty. I think I can do that. I've got a focus.
And you have a gap large enough to where it shouldn't increase difficulty, and since the grenade will release the gas quickly in proximity, it is your hope that it should be able to take them down pretty quickly.
All right. Let's go. So 3 success.
Let's see. Is that with the augmented ability?
Yes.
Okay. Wouldn't that actually be 4 successes then? Because it's 2 on the die, and then if I'm not mistaken, it effectively doubles those.
Yes.
Yes? Oh.
So yes, that is 2 successes. That means you gain back 2 points of momentum as well. Which I will add in stream. Joe, just whenever you get the chance to draw that. We'll also note just for the stream counter, I am, because I succeeded on the earlier dice roll, the persuasion task, the intimidation task rather, I do gain back a point of threat. But yes, Lynn, you prime the grenade, and looking between the different bits of strewn bulkhead, rebar, and other portions of the deck that have come down, you find the optimal way to get it down. It's actually as simple as a single underhanded toss, which you throw out. If you have it calculated right, and you are positive you do, the grenade was actually primed to disperse gas in mid-air, and as sure as you hear the sound of the pressure system, or like the pressurized system suddenly dispersing, you hear the sounds of momentary shock, and followed by some coughs, and then the clattering of 3 bodies.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting this to work.
Easier than softball.
I figure I would just give it to you here in this case, as opposed to rolling damage. I'm being a benevolent GM. I'm definitely not forgetting to ask you to roll damage.
I mean, that's so kind of you. You're amazing, and we love you.
With that, Tabak gives a good chuckle. Ha ha ha! Oh. Efficient as... Well, I haven't seen you that much in action, Lynn, but I am glad we brought you along for this as well. Doctor, do what you need to. Take them somewhere else here, bring them aboard the ship. do what you need to get your information from them. The rest of you, let's see what we can get out of this ship.
Captain and 2 crew, right? Who's there?
Tabak,
Or a guy and 2 crew?
Yes.
On the enemy team? On the enemy side?
Yes. Here, I'll make
All right.
the last one visible here. Yeah. Let's see. So, Cressek, as you make your way through the strewn bits of debris and sort of shunt that aside, you see there are indeed what appear to be 3 Rigelian men. All of the... you'd probably have at least a little bit of familiarity with the Jelna. They are one of the natives of the distant Rigelston, known for having a few slight quirks. I think are in addition to I think that the species kind of splits to where biologically there are the male female. There's a male female analog with endosexes, but there's also I think that the lore behind it is that there are ectosexes who have like a more hardened sort of skin, and there's something with a Z chromosome that is included. The team doesn't remember the exact lore. It's probably been a hot minute since you've had the opportunity to research one up close, Doctor. I'll say that they don't necessarily make good. They don't make the best binding for notebooks. Not that you would. I mean, not anyone would know about that. Even your perfectly normal book that you have.
Perfect made of what? Perfect no letter.
Yes. Don't run a tricorder over that. But yes, you know they are generally a very hard bunch. The particular chromosome augments their physical abilities and survival instincts, so it can make them quite a bit more fit and nastier to face the brawl.
Very cool. Which one was the one that was talking of the 3 of them?
It would be the gentleman with the receding hairline that I've hopefully highlighted here. Oh wait, let me get out of the jam player. It would be the middle one amongst the 2 of them.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Cressek's going to pull out his disruptor, shoot both of the other ones straight in the head, and then tell the transporter officer to beam the leader to the ship.
Very good. And the GM will appreciate your 2 points of threat for the murder. Murders, plural.
Yep.
Very good. All right. So, the remaining 2 Rigelians are vaporized on the spot. The Doctor beams up and alongside... well, at least the other Rigelian is beamed out of scene. Cressek, did you say you wanted to go with him, or were you lingering a moment?
No, he wants to take a look at the cargo, see the medical supplies, try and get some information.
Okay.
Make sure that the sources were correct.
All right. Well then, everybody does have the opportunity to take a look at the cargo manifest and see what they have around here. So, yeah, I'll give you a link to do that. Anybody want to make any particular tasks? Or is anyone particularly interested in looking at what they have here?
Well, Lynn will definitely be taking a look.
For the record, I'll have the captain proceed to whatever's left of a command center, or perhaps their...
I'm lost right now, sorry. Was muted.
That's alright. I think I was going to come along. Okay, so...
sorry.
No. Go ahead, Cheesy.
Can Nogri stick with Cressek and the guard action on him?
Absolutely.
A guard task?
Absolutely. I will say that you have the guard task ready, so if anyone should show up and attack on Doctor, then you'll be more than able of engaging that threat. Let's see. I'll say... So, the rest of you are all heading in particular seat here, so I will... I'll just say it. The 4 of you head into the cargo bay. I will move you guys... well, let's keep on this effort now. I'll say that the 4 of you start routing through the cargo holds. For 3 of you, at least, investigating particular supplies, checking the shipboard manifest, such that you can still access computers on this ship and trying to locate these supplies to determine whether deliveries have made or whatnot. I will invite all of you to make an insight roll with a relevant discipline of choosing. Doctor, for your particular question, that would be medicine. I'll obviously roll for Zionol in this circumstance, Ray, but if you want to either pick a discipline or if you want to ask if he can find something in particular, I will give you that opportunity.
Mr. Rath, is there a particular discipline?
Nah, whatever you want. He's a general quartermaster. He's there to get supplies of any kind, anything useful to the ship or to him. But the ship kind of needs to be functional for him to. It's sort of the hierarchy of needs, right?
Fair. Yeah, I definitely want to look for anything of value and anything we can take from the ship.
Very good, very good. I'll give him insight and security on his roll. So
Would one of my focuses apply?
Yes, for Zionol, that should have been equipment requisition. But as to Cressek, I would say you said that you had a focus on pharmacology, if I'm mistaken.
Yes. I have one on pharmacology and I have one on genetics.
I think that apply. The former at the very least.
I also have paranormal phenomena to put it out there, just in case.
One day.
Oh yeah,
Bro,
that's
you
what I
have
wanted to
had
see.
so many chances for that. I'm judging so hard.
That's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, paranormal phenomena was literally just taken as a joke focus, and I've used it so often.
Yes, it's downright spooky. So, Doctor, as Zionol peruses through, checking through the errand supplies, I imagine just be a case of trash, not with feeding to the dog, trash, and so on and so forth. Really is, there's a fair bit of garbage as far as the immediate sort of thing. I'm going to go as far as say a lot of the initial containers that he is starting off with are a fruit that smells like garbage, but it's a bright turquoise color. While that's going on, Doctor, you consult the manifest and you move into a portion of this cargo bay, Noggery not too far behind you, where you find a smaller sort of storage unit in wall. Is not properly secured, and the locking mechanism such that it existed beforehand. It is no longer in any fit state to keep it secured. So you are able to open it up, and you find there's indeed signs of the vials of different sorts, but they track based on what you would have known, based on the cargo information that Zionol has supplied to you in the past. This looks to be a medication that could inhibit silanine production, and thus it's very likely the at least some of the inhibiting tech that you would have seen in the past.
Excellent. I'm healing a tag that didn't back up.
Very good, very good.
And it's pretty much just like it's also nice place found, right?
Yes, these are
Okay.
basically it's certain pharmaceuticals that would be used to help suppress an overactive telepathic situations.
Excellent. But like mechanical equipment.
Not in this lot here. There may be some elsewhere. I don't think that the most recent manifest shows any additional parts that look to be that sort of dual-use tech.
Gotcha. Okay, good. He's done his part. He's quite satisfied with finding vindication.
Indeed. Just double check. Lynn, were you checking for anything else as well? Miss you.
Weapons.
Very good.
Weapons.
Insight and security, please.
All right. Ooh. Ooh.
Let me ask at the risk of saying, hold on, I need this most effectively in one moment. Okay, Lynn, at the risk of saying you have found monkey's paw for those in stream. How would you like to take that complication? Would you prefer to A, accept a complication? B, would you prefer to ignore it and grant me a couple points of threat? Or C, would you like to buy off with some of your momentum?
I want narrative.
Okay. Well, you are having about as much luck initially as Zyle was. Going through some of the bulk monkeys, a lot of it was foodstuffs and a few sort of bits of scrap that were or basic materials, something vaguely bolt-like of the potentially of the sealing variety, but not self-sealing. It's an older model. And yeah, you were pretty well sure that the wasn't much of it. You noticed that as one of the crates, you notice one of the crates actually has an anti-grav unit or an access point for those, and you realize you are able to very easily get it to hover and move aside. It was not particularly easy to do, but sure enough, it was there. Lynn, you very quickly that and get things set for usage there. So, sorry, guys, I'm checking one thing. My may a little bit crunchy right now, so we may be running a little behind for some purposes. I will say I apologize to anybody who does notice a delay. I'll try to keep up things as best as possible. You see that there does appear to be a panel, some sort of access panel beneath the crate, and with quick thinking, you move to access it. Or you flip open the panel and you find that there is appears to be a lock system, and that as you've opened the panel, there's now a what appears to be a sort of circular interface with buttons, and around it is it's basically a series of bulbs with a single light that comes on and starts moving in a counterclockwise orientation. It's slow enough pace to where, as you assess, you would guess it will take about 2 minutes to pull around its course. And the let's see, it's the panel is in a language you do not recognize offhand.
No, I think I'm gonna make a wee while something here. Hey guys, I found bomb.
Cressek is in another room.
We're in any. Is anyone near me enough to get help?
Zyle is in a segment of the cargo bay, probably near enough to where his ears will prick at that sound. You also have a communicator, so you could notify everyone at once if you so desired.
Yes, I am using the communicator.
That's multiple.
Do not currently in my possession have diffusal tools. That's about 2 minutes less now.
Quick. Go ahead there, Draven.
I was just gonna ask Doctor, do we have anybody that can defuse the bomb?
Probably not. Not here.
Well, let's see. Taybok's voice comes over. Good job. I would have preferred more time to look over this, but the ship's computers have been smashed. It will take me at least 2 minutes to make it back down that section here. All I'm able to get out of this are diagnostic reports, which I'm transmitting to the right now. Lynn, if you are not confident you can disarm that, do you have everything you need?
Everything that I need has been accounted for.
Well, there's no sense in wasting time on any foolish side ventures. We will return to the ship.
Wait, I do have an engineer kit. I might be able to do it.
So, as the lights are now, the lights have reached a point where it's now moving counterclockwise. The time it has taken you to speak. Lights have basically illuminated from the 12 symbol down to the 9. So I'd say, for intervals of time, I would think that you have about probably have 1 or 2 tasks that you could attempt here. That being said, to try and disarm, it is going to be You can call it Daring plus Engineering. Roll a difficult of 4.
Difficulty of 4, huh? Okay, I'm gonna make one attempt if I can buy a die.
Go ahead.
I'm fine with it.
Would you like to purchase that die?
Have some.
Let's see. I'll reflect the guys we have it. I believe you guys should actually have one more than is currently in the pool, so I will just deduct it from behind the stream set right now, and you won't have to worry about dropping one. But go ahead and make your attempt.
All right, difficulty 4, you said.
Correct.
That's a pass because I have to build a carriage.
Okay. And some notifications. 5 successes, another complication. Bear in mind that you gain back momentum.
Another complication?
No, I'm sorry. That was I was looking. 5 successes. You work diligently, and as the lights have just about hit the 6 o'clock marker, you are able to. You're able to engage with the panel just a little bit. There's an interface of some sort which you ascertain is meant to interpret, like it's meant to receive a certain coded sequence, say a password type in. It nearly seems tamper-proof, but you do find a way that you are able to quickly use a bit of your engineering kit, and if the carefulest of the playing are able to separate the panel from its the interface panel from the from the main stem. From there is a set of sort of applications of sort of lizard tool that tricks this. What you realize is not such a bomb as a booby trap to disengage or to think that it's received in sequence. In a scene that others would not be able to so carefully manage. And yeah, if that's the lights go out on the vertical that is illuminated, the lights just go out, and there is a bit of clicking in place as the door opens up. Rather, the hatch that you have opens up. Over the audio line, tape box says, "Everybody, make back to transport. Return to the transport site. I will alert the yacht."
I disabled the bomb commander.
You're sure about that, Lynn?
I've opened it, and there's no more time.
You can, Cressek, by now you can imagine the face of the captain as many a times the crew have gotten into a strange, unenviable situation. The relief only occasionally comes across when they come out as just as easily. But honestly, the latter is much rarer. Which explains his momentary pause, and when he finally says, "Continue carefully."
Understood.
When you try to open up the hatch, would you like to do that?
Yes.
Inside the panel, you see numerous cases. I would say that they are, it would appear to be canisters of some sort. They look very much like components for, you expect the components for weaponry, very likely some sort of either projectile launcher of some sort, or it might even be as a interior work for various different basic torpedo technology. With whatever sort of hand scanner you would have, I'll just give you for free that you're able to run it over the canisters and start assessing what you have on hand. It takes just a few moments for the sensors to get a proper lock, but what you appear to have are like the chemical formulas are very very familiar. They are components that when mixed together and when they encounter atmosphere tend to be highly flammable.
Oh, I see. I will be letting this.
There are you basically found like a small sort of source hold. There is enough here based on numbers for at least a few dozen warheads. So I'm going to say that this isn't something that you could load them all into a pack. You could maybe bring one or two along.
I guess I'll have to notify the commander. I'm gonna have him, since, you know, our early players here. I'm gonna ask him to come check this himself. He may be interested.
Yeah, Peter will make his way over and say, as he pops in. What have you found here, Lynn?
These are bombs. Warheads. Thermobaric.
What would be the point of weapons such as these? Photonic weaponry is plenty capable of dealing damage. Is this something that this weapons technology be at all useful to? Well, have you seen anything like it before? Would this be of any use to the ship?
In space, not so much. In an atmosphered environment such as the interior of a ship or space station, or even planet side, it would be quite devastating.
Bring canister back for Mulder to look at. These webs, I don't care for them.
I'll remind you about the how many times has Tavok used transporting grenades in an attack?
Oh, fair enough. I kind of care for them.
I kind of care for them. Upgrading the arsenal.
We'll bring some of them up with us. So with that, the Yun now has the advantage of thermobaric weapon canisters. With smile work, these can be turned into various sorts of weapons that will create fire hazards, unless they are reduced, like broken up a little bit. Each individual canister would probably be enough to, for a Sail 2 ship like the Yun, it would probably be enough to devastate the interior, or create hazards throughout the ship. You do not want this broken outside of a normal environment. Yeah. With all that, I don't know if there's anything you guys immediately want to do on the ship right now. We can either keep going if any of you want to follow a lead, or we can take it back to the Yun for a moment.
I think the only thing would be whatever Captain's getting out of the computer core.
Yep. What he is going to do will form the pieces of another scene here. He is going to forward on some information to the Yun. Particularly, I think, when Azek and when it goes back to that Azek be present on the bridge, they'll have some info for Ryan Traven. So let's go ahead and set that up. I'm going to try to move us from scenes here. Fortunately, my computer is just very, very slow tonight. I apologize that things are just not the well-oiled machine. Alright, let me just make sure a few people are cloaked. So, Tavok, no, Traven, Nogri would be off screen. Okay. So, back aboard the, as you've waited a few minutes while the boarding party effect their work. Near as you can tell, it has gone very well. There was only one remaining Vigelian life sign. That person has been beaten over the ship and is being brought to sickbay for the doctor's interrogation, unless the doctor says otherwise. Meantime, you have been just waiting patiently for a few moments. Traven, I will say that with cleaning momentarily done and a stew simmering that you can afford to let sit for a while, you are able to come to the bridge and take part in the mission here. The raid seems to have gone more or less successfully.
Could I bring cups of Frappuccino for everybody on the bridge?
Absolutely. So, you pass around the rack, you know, Hammock is just downing it right away. He needs his go juice, I suppose. Yes, you bring up a mug to the captain.
Thank you, Traven.
Anytime. So what
Not much. Waiting to hear a status report back from the crew, the Way mission. Probably do a sector scan to see if anybody else is out there. Keep an eye on it.
I have been keeping an eye on the local on our localization, there are no signs of other possible players in the area. We are alone with them. He says, gesturing to the highly damaged freighter on the view screen ahead of you. I am receiving signal from the ship. It is Tabak.
Jan to Tibak.
Captain, this is Tabak. I can report that our mission appears largely successful and is nearing its conclusion. I'm going to ask cargo transporters to be brought online unless we beam over some interesting material we've found as quickly as possible. It seems as though these Rigelians were carrying even more than their official cargo. Undoubtedly smugglers.
Alright, I'll prepare the cargo transporters.
I'm also transmitting what logs I've been able to extract from the computer system. Unfortunately, anything on their navigational plan does not appear to have survived, though we may be able to stitch that together. I would have you task Vopry and anyone else who can help him review diagnostic logs we have and see if we can pick up anything as to clues to where they may have gone to a Klingon. That's our best hope, I think. Outside of the doctor's interrogation, of course.
Alright, I'll have it done momentarily.
Alright. Pick out. I am receiving regards now, Captain.
Alright, process those when you can. Captain to people engineering. Let's bring our cargo transporters online and see that we bring that cargo over. Sounds like we've got some volatile materials or some interesting materials coming over.
Understood.
All right. So let's see. As everything gets started here, Traven, would you want to get involved with any particular task here, or would you head any particular direction?
I was just about to ask Captain's permission to inspect the explosive bomb also. I could look at the chemical compounds to see what makes them tick, basically.
That would be a good idea. I like your initiative. Get after it, soldier. Yeah.
Let's stick with Chef. I like that one better.
All right, Gordon Ramsay, get to it.
Thank you, Captain. I'm going to make my way down to meet them.
All right, with that, Traven, you head on down to the cargo transporter. So I think at this point, at this point, let's do a little bit of a time skip then, where anything that you have been able to pull off the freighter has been largely stripped. There are signs that there were other cargo compartments that you could have investigated, or would have been able to under other circumstances, but the weapons fire was so devastating that it seems to have blown some of those compartments out. You are just thankful that you have some useful weapons here, or that you were able to acquire the thermobaric canister components. So I guess just to track what we have here, Traven and Voldar might be in the cargo bay right now looking over these canisters. That is an option for one of the scenes. The doctor has an interrogation that he has to attend to. Does anybody else have things they want to be involved in? Or does anyone want to bring anyone else so that they're involved in other scenes?
Is there any way to scan the ship to see if it would be worth anything as far as like salvage, or would it survive being towed to the nearest port?
So I can answer that for you, Azek. Based on what tibak will relay in his assessment, the freighter was so effectively damaged that it is not going anywhere anytime soon. The handful of crew that didn't die immediately, Cressek has killed 2/3 of them, and the last one is being interrogated. Since the Jan actually lacks a tractor beam emitter, you would be able to tow her. That would mean effectively having to spend what could be weeks to patch up her engines enough to get her going again. And at this point, tibak is much more just the better option is simply to pick through, see if there's anything else useful, which they've already done a lot of. It's very badly beaten, and there are only so many sections you can actually access. At that point, he is just in favor of scuttling the ship and getting rid of it there. If you decide to leave it for salvage, tibak will let you do that, though. He will leave that as your prerogative, just as, be careful.
Okay. While we're waiting for all the salvaging stuff to happen, I want to plot a tactical trajectory to where we can basically fly over the ship as close as possible, and then flip a 180 so we're facing the ship, and fire torpedoes. Or no, not torpedoes, wasteful. Blasters as a form of target practice, combat readiness kind of thing.
Gotcha. And an attack run and then disruptor strike sort of thing.
Yep. As long as tibak is okay with that course of action. Well, no, I'm captain. I'm okay with that course of action.
Yep. And tibak would voice no objection to securing the kill, completing the effect. So yeah, you'd be good. We can even close out the session with the destruction of that freighter. You'll get your Shax moment, as it were.
Very nice.
All right. So we'll save that particular part for later with the meetup on bridge. Let's see here. I guess, Doctor, I will ask you, since the interrogation is going to be vital for this, do you want to bring anyone in the scene in particular? Or do you just want to... would you be...
Would anybody care to join?
It's a good question. Anyone want to get involved?
Well, Lynn doesn't have anything better to do.
I say if you want the possibility of a good cop, or at least pheromone cop, then I suppose if he wants to get Davis involved, that was the thing, but I'll leave that as your call there. Only if you're in a position to do stuff with it.
She's in a bio.
Gotcha. Then we'll just...
For those of you that opted not to listen to the earlier summary, this was a segment where the recording got very buggy. Audio and video were not functioning for several minutes. So what you are missing, essentially, is that this cut into an interrogation scene between the doctor and the freighter captain. The audio does resume mid-scene, but it plays a little bit out of order, so it sounds as though Rev and I are kind of stepping on each other's toes, talking over each other. I'll give you a little bit of the audio description to clear up what happens here. You could probably piece it together from what you hear. Cressek basically purchases a trait using the choir entity from the 8th episode of the season. Traven had retained a sample of it, the lone surviving sample, and he'd bestowed it to the doctor for experimentation, who essentially uses it for an improvised telepathic link, exposing both himself and the freighter captain. The interrogation plays out pretty clearly from there, so I think that's about all the context that you would need for this. Once again, so sorry for the errors, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the session.
You have not told anybody about the contents of the canister, and we can let that remain ambiguous. So, Cressek, you have cultivated that. You managed to cultivate some of this, and for 2 of the points of momentum, which, Joe, I will ask you to drop at your nearest opportunity, I'll say that you can administer some of the choir.
I spliced his genes with my plant, with my meat-eating plant that I have in my
does anything, whether this
in my study.
Whether this accomplishes the same effect
to create something
you were used to is an open question. You're definitely taking a trait for this. That is what you are buying with this advantage.
Yes. And if it does, I am perfectly fine with taking a permanent trait.
Yes.
That I have this thing inside me. I am A-okay with that.
So, Cressek, yes. You administer
Excellent.
you administer this bit of
I love it.
The life form, as it were, before.
But that was before Lynn showed up.
Before Lynn steps in. Once you have secured all the equipment and you are set over the still unconscious patient, the augmented human, or mechanically augmented human, that is, steps into the sick bay. All set for their part in the interrogation.
Shall we begin?
Yes. How's he doing?
He's stable, alive, unharmed.
I see.
And I'm gonna wake him up.
Okay, you apply a stimulant to him, and he is steadily roused. Oh, this is my crew, my ship. Well,
You tested my theories. Now you are aboard our vessel.
At this rate, you may as well just kill me now. Lantern-Herx isn't going to be happy with me at this rate.
Go ahead, sorry. I have no desire or need to end your life. You contain information that I need, and I am not one to retrieve this information in a particularly bloody fashion if I can avoid it. That's why you are still alive and unharmed.
You really don't get it, do you? The fact that, look, our ship in as bad a state as it's been left, and presuming, since you decided to take prisoners, and that you don't plan on supplying those replacement parts, chances are Marfreda's dead. And even if me and whoever's left of my crew can get it fixed up, it's gonna take weeks, months maybe to get that in any sort of fit state, which means I'm going to miss deliveries, which means I'm as good as dead.
Let's talk about deliveries. Most of your cargo was uninteresting. but there were these. And he produces one of the vials of chemical that he obtained. Do you know what these are?
Some sort of medical gear, I think. I don't know. My quartermaster was, well, last I checked he was blown out into space and he knew the manifest best. Did you try asking him?
Unfortunately, no.
I thought not.
There is... Oh, God, sorry.
Oh, he just said, I thought not.
There is a distinct lack of this good being transferred to other delivery locations. According to your cargo manifests.
Well, I might have moved it, so what about it?
This particular chemical is used in a variety of substances, primarily to dampen telepathic powers, which are not common. Telepathic powers that I am seeking. Telepathic powers that we are seeking. All I need to know is who and where these goods are for.
And then what? What happens after I tell you where these goods may or may not have gone, and what's the give me a sense of the process from here, Mr. Head Researcher, was it?
Hi, researcher.
Oh, hi, Researcher. I'm so sorry, Mr. Top Research Man.
Well, I'm certain we could find a nice port for you to scurry off into hiding so your little friend might not kill you in the recent time frame.
And what about the rest of my crew?
The rest of your crew lives on. He's assuming Rigelians have an afterlife. But he's not saying that.
No, I think that as the trait begins to come into play here, I'm going to I'm going to give him an insight roll here. And let's call this insight and security. This will be against your doctor. This will be against your presence and command.
Oh, great. Would my paranormal phenomena focus apply because his belief in the afterlife?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I love it.
There is a flash in your mind of the bodies being vaporized before you as you call to mind that as you say that, and that there's something about that flash, something that feels very visceral, and You almost feel the impulse to grimace, much as the Rigelian does. I do gain a point of threat for that insight there.
Yes.
And he feels a little... well, at this point, I'd say it goes both ways, Cressek. He feels a little apprehensive. Even more so than he looks.
Right. Cressek fully believes that, these guys made it to whatever beyond
Yep.
the Rigelians believe in. But regardless, it does set him slightly uneasy.
Yep.
As well.
So, look, I don't know how you and yours do business, but even if I were to find myself a decent hole to keep a low profile, you've never clearly dealt with leths&BiHnuchs. He is very much the sort that will still find me, that will find any surviving member of my crew, that will find their families, and that all of them, anyone that they cared about to any significant regard, will be found dead by inexplicable means, but all in ways that cannot be traced back to him. That's the price when you fail him, or when you get in his way. At least in a low-grade measure. You really offend him, he makes it hurt.
Did you cut out?
The last thing I said was he makes it hurt.
Okay. I did not hear that
Okay.
part.
What he had said before, that was basically, if he,
It makes your family disappear. And it can't be traced back to him.
And if you really get him mad, then he will make sure that you, go down in pain.
Well, if you're so concerned about him, why waste the time? We can let you out and you can just kill him yourself.
You don't subdue the large parts of the Orion underworld, including some of the older royal families or even manage to earn begrudging respect of the likes of the Mistress of the Winter Constellation, and be in a position to where some lowly freighter captain's gonna get him killed. I doubt even you could touch him, Mr. Top Researcher Man.
Perhaps not. You mentioned family. Do you have family?
I might.
And if you do, I am sure you do not want to see them hurt by this Orion. Is that correct?
I'd prefer not. Not for them. What?
If you were assured, presumed dead, would your Orion master still target your family?
My ship went up then, and I was on it then, maybe. That's still doing me a pretty raw deal.
I will give you an option. I could send you back to your ship to be blown out of the sky, or I could fabricate enough genetic material for any scans to ensure your deceasing is final. After that, you are free to either leave or find work amongst this unfortunate vessel.
So basically, if he helps you, he either dies on the he can die on his ship, or he can make it look like it was faked and like effectively either recruit to the yawn or drop him off in a port. Would that be my understanding?
Yep.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a. Well, you may attempt to persuade him, which, surprise, surprise, presence and command for this doctor.
I see.
And he,
oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
In light of how much he is not enamored with you, I am giving him a point of threat to buy an additional die for his insight and presence here.
Insight and security, you mean?
Or
insight and
rather,
command?
Insight and command, yes. That's the one.
Okay. I would like to spend a determination to gain an automatic critical success.
Okay.
I would like to spend it on the value Kings Fall, People Endure.
Okay. I could see that working. You are essentially trying to ensure this person sees a way that he can survive, even if the system is not so friendly to him.
And at this point, would my psychoanalysis focus apply?
Yes.
Now that I've gotten some information off of him, all right. And then could I spend our point of momentum to get a third die? Captain, is that okay with you?
Yeah, sure. But you have to sing the result.
Okay, I got you.
All right. So this will roll against him here. Oh dear, that is 4 successes to his 3. And a complication.
That is 4 successes. 4 successes. 4 successes. 4 successes. 4 successes.
Man, now I don't want to invoke his value to take that away from you. That'd just be rude.
Happy Azek?
Excellent. If I were the GM, I'd give you momentum.
Well, I'm giving you momentum anyway because you succeeded. As a matter of fact, I will have that complication just count as 2 extra points of momentum on top of that. So,
wow.
Yeah, that will read the way that changes. Joe, you will be able to draw 3 points of momentum after you had briefly expended your pool in order to buy an extra die, but you gained it back and then some. Meanwhile, the GM has lost a point of threat. Seems I'm remaining steady, given that I had gained a point earlier and just not documented it, so 15 threat still tracks. Alright. You can make it, if you can make it look good, then maybe I've got a chance here.
I am the top researcher, after all.
Yes, Mr. Headman. I'm not staying on this ship after this is all concerned. You can drop me off wherever, but I can say I don't know who I was dropping off. I don't know all of the issues with the cargo. I have a good sense of what I was doing for the Orions, but that stuff you're interested in, well, that was a slightly different handshake agreement. I didn't know much about the buyers for that, but they did not prefer meeting out in the open. I did have a drop point, though. It's a place out in the Azure Nebula. I know the coordinates well enough. I could supply that to you.
That would be greatly appreciated. He hands him a data pad.
He kind of looks at it, like you feel a surge of incredulity in the back of your head as he, like, looks at the arms that are presently bound.
Oh, he's not restrained to the bed.
Wait, what? Oh. He moves his arms and he grasps hold of it. Tapping the pad very harshly gives you a general zone in the Azure Nebula.
Excellent. Cressek takes it back. He's going to walk over to the ship-wide communication button, punch it. Cressek to Tabok and Azik.
You rang.
I have secured a location where the supplies were handed off.
All right, setting course.
Very good. And
Wait,
Tabok,
you didn't tell me where we needed to go.
I will make sure you get the data pad with the information very soon. And Tabok, we may have advertently made a unfortunate altercation with the Orions.
Oh dear. You're going to have to explain this to me, but not after everyone involved has a good warm mug of blood wine.
Understood.
Alright. So with that,
And with that, the GM regrets to report there was in fact a final error, specifically one that cut off the ending of the session. In essence, Azik, having decided that they needed to get rid of the evidence, launched an attack run and destroyed the freighter, then setting a course for the Azure Nebula. So, we hope that you enjoyed this. If you stuck it out, if you stayed with us, the rest of Broken Sword Season 2 should be free of technical errors. Thank you, and hopla.